We're back to talk about our 10-1 Lions. It's something that's not getting old, man. It's nice to get on here and just talk win after win.
Hitch, I'm excited. This is the fan forum. I think this is our 12th episode season. And yeah, they're all starting out the same. I mean, we're winning. We're expecting we win. We're even calling it, man. We said, hey, defense is going to be the key to this game. Defense was the key to this game. We handled the Colts, I think, pretty nice. What about you?
Yeah, I have some thoughts and some talking points as I always do, but overall, I mean, it was a win. I thought about you watching this game thinking, end of the year, it doesn't matter what the score is, because everybody I was watching with was kind of freaking out that we weren't just trouncing them. But at the end of the day, and in the recaps and the replays that I've watched, it was a great game. It was competitive for a minute. We still won by a large margin. We didn't allow a touchdown, right? I mean, it was awesome. It was a great game.
Dude, that's exactly my point. I watched it with a friend of mine that we both are both common friend of ours. Pessimistic attitude towards the Lions. Just because it's not 52-3 doesn't mean it was a failure. Jared Goff didn't have a single thrown touchdown, but he had a passer rating of 94%. So he was effective. He was beyond effective. He was an A.
Efficient as could be.
Anthony Richardson, quarterback rating, I want to say, was in the 50s. We got to him. We let him use his big arm to do nothing.
Gashed us on the ground a little bit, like we had said to watch out for, but nothing out of the world, nothing that we couldn't handle.
Nothing that didn't equate to 0 points.
Yep.
So Anthony Richardson got to show us that he can run, which we know. He showed us that he can launch the ball down the field, which we knew. But we showed him that it takes more than fast legs and a strong arm to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. And you watched him make all the wrong decisions. He was hurried. He was nervous. He was angry. You could tell it was in his head. That's our coaching staff. I love it. So, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about a couple weeks ago. You're not going to go back after the Super Bowl season and say, I know we won the Super Bowl, guys, but hey, wouldn't it have been nice if every game Goff threw 5 touchdowns?
Wouldn't it be nice if we beat the Colts by 40 instead of 20 or 23?
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if Kirby Joseph led the league in interceptions by double digits? It's silly. It's silly talk, right? And then the emergence of Zadarius Smith. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, he's coming in and in 2 short weeks here with his little makeshift bye on top of it. He's coming in and he's doing what we want him to do, right? We've said it time and time again, nobody's going to replace Hutch's production, but he's a good player on a good line, and he's doing good player stuff.
You know what, though, Hitch? He's getting pretty close to with the production. I watched the offensive line for the other team, in this case the Colts, do exactly what offensive lines have done to Aiden Hutchinson before he got hurt. It was really nice. It was just like you felt the presence of something over there. Now, to your point, next season when we have Zadarius Smith and Aiden Hutchinson, it is going to be hell for these quarterbacks to deal with.
Yep.
The stat sheet, I think you're going to see, it's going to be ding, 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 lighten up. But Ali McNeil had a hell of a game.
He sure did.
Pasquale, you called it. Your boy. Heard his name called a lot.
Yep.
Our safeties did everything we expect them to do. The linebackers, holy shit, Jack Campbell came flying across the screen sideways for a pass breakup. So, yeah, your typical old school Lions fans that don't understand what good winning football looks like, shame on them, because that's what that game was. And that was on the road.
Well, that's the thing. We're undefeated on the road. Whoever thought, even with this massive turnaround and the popularity, and they're kind of like now America's team, it was not long ago that we just couldn't win a road game, man. And so to be at this point in the year, undefeated on the road, odds on
Dan
Super
Campbell
Bowl favorites.
Say? I think he said 2 years ago they lost on the road. And they were 11 on the road, and now they're 22-3 since that game. I'm running out of these crazy stats to keep pulling through because it's endless, right? First time for this, first
I
time
got
for
one
that.
for you. I have a stat that really, once I saw it and sat down and thought about exactly what that meant, was like, whew. So obviously we realize that they're elite. They are elite this year.
Yeah.
Last year they were very good, barely missed the Super Bowl. Year before that, they had won on this win streak, just missed the playoffs. Year before that, they were kind of dog shit, but we knew they were going to be dog shit. Before this game, they ran a stat, and I'm just going to spit it out off the top of my head. If they, anyone feels like fact check me, but I'm going to prove my point here. I want to say before this game, Campbell was like 33-23 in 4 years with the Lions. So after this, he's 34-23. Then I got to thinking about that. Think about all those games he lost his first year, right? I think they played 10 games before they beat the Vikings, I think, at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a few of those games and make them not as abysmal, you're looking at a coach that's like very realistically could be like 40-15 after inheriting this dog shit franchise, right? So the writing is on the wall. We know that they're good, but when you see that stat and how quick this turnaround was, and if you discount, you can't discount, but if you reframe it, and let's say we didn't lose those 10 games right up front, I mean, the turnaround is unbelievable, right?
Yeah, the turnaround is. In the
It really
turnout,
is.
you want to talk about the turnaround? Let's talk about the turnout because it's well known now that if you are a team and the Lions are coming to your town, you can run, but you can't hide. The fans will be overtaking your arena. I mean, not only will the fans, but Campbell, you sent me the TikTok of Dan Campbell's wife getting the Jared Goff chant going downtown in Indy. That was downtown Indy, right?
It was
I'm
downtown
assuming that was
Indy, and
down.
all the ladies in the background were other Lions wives, and they went in very innocuously and kind of waited till the right moment. And 1, 2,
Isn't that
3,
crazy?
Jared Goff. I love it, man.
See, to me, that's so covert ops.
Yeah, yeah,
You
dude.
know, you don't even know when the Lions are. What's a Lions fan? What does it look like? You know, you really don't know. Your neighbor, you literally are a green. Now I don't want to say Green Bay Packer, but let's say you're an Indianapolis Colt. Let's say you're an Arizona Cardinal, because that game really the stadium was out of control.
Still think about how sad Kyler Murray looked during that whole game.
You're outside in Arizona watering your rocks, and you're thinking to yourself, I've known this guy for the past 16 years, and all of a sudden he's got a Honolulu blue flag flying. I had no
Yeah,
idea he was a Lions fan,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're sitting at a bar thinking this is your hometown bar, and in true St. Elmo's Fire fashion, you're enjoying yourself, eating some cocktail sauce,
That's a
and
good
out of
throwback.
nowhere there's a Jared Goff chant. And it's not even only being done by a fan, it's being done by the existing coach's wife and all the players' wives.
Yeah, dude.
This is Red Dawn. This is Blue Dawn.
This is hostile takeover time, and given the fact that it was a regional game, a 1 o'clock start, a regional game where we could drive, we could fly, we could ride our bikes, we could ride our lawnmowers, they showed up in fucking force. And it was hard to tell just by looking at the stands because everybody's in blue, right? But you could hear the Jared Goff.
I can feel it.
Jared Goff. Yeah.
I don't even need to hear it. I can feel it. That's the craziest thing right now. It's in my kneecaps, right?
I mean, after I sent you that Instagram or TikTok or whatever that was, the coach's wife, me, my 6-year-old daughter Maggie, my wife Tracy stood around our kitchen going, Jared Goff, Jared Goff. My neighbors could probably hear us. And I don't think I'm the only house just dancing around the kitchen going, Jared Goff. It's palpable. It's a real fucking thing where all my neighbors have out Lions flags. Trump flags come down, Lions flags go up. And it's something, again, not to get weird and political, don't want the shadow ban, but with all this weird shit going on all over the place, it's something that we can all agree upon. The Lions are badass.
It's patriotism.
It's about as patriotic as I'm willing to get. It's like birds, eagles crowing, rare steak on the grill, high life in hand, Jared Goff. Jared
Listen,
Goff.
when that bald eagle lands on top of Ford Field and you look up there and you look up at that bald eagle and it lights up a Marlboro Southern cut and stares, it winks right back at you. It doesn't get any better than that.
And you forget to mention the most important part. It's got on a Jared Goff jersey,
Yes,
right?
it does.
It's not just the soccer moms and the neighbors that are rocking the gear, dude. Everywhere you look, bumper stickers, flags. It's just, I don't know what else I can say about it besides for the fact that it's like a world that I never thought I would live in.
You don't want to know why it's a world we never thought we'd live in? And Corey and I were talking about this yesterday because you and I both being born in the 80s, this is where we could draw a parallel to. In the 1980s, the Red Wings were called the Dead Wings, right? They couldn't win a game. Nobody wanted to go see them. Hockey was irrelevant here. Although there were probably some general pure hockey fans because of where we're at located. Then the emergence of Stevie Y comes out, right? Now, Stevie Y is kind of God sent in the same where we get Jared Goff at, right? Hockey for us, Hitch, all we knew in the 90s was the Red Wings owned the NHL. They owned hockey. They owned the Stanley Cup. They were the sweater you wanted to wear. That is the Lions now for Jason, Maggie, all of our kids, right? This is all they know is that you don't fuck around with the Lions. How crazy is that?
Your comparison is so apt and so spot on, not just because it's 313, but what the Red Wings did going from the Dead Wings to perennial powerhouse, teams of destiny, Hall of Fame teams that just we were lucky to be able to watch. I don't give a fuck if it was in Detroit, if it was in Boston. I mean, these teams were legendary, and they did it by changing the game. Right? They saw the way that hockey was being played. They saw the way that talent was being evaluated and brought up through systems. And Scotty was like, I don't like this. Let's go to Russia. Right? And we got to see
Yeah.
this Russian five, and transversely similar but different, of course. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes come in here and they're like, strip it down. Let's do something so different. Let's change the way that they're going to approach football and play football on both sides of the ball for decades to come. And I don't want to sound like a big bandwagon fan. I don't want to sound all over exaggerating or bombastic, but what we have seen in the last 6-7 weeks is just they're outpacing the greatest show on turf.
I'm glad you brought that up, the greatest show on turf, because I'm really getting sick of hearing that. And I know it's a compliment, but I also think it's kind of a back end compliment, truthfully, because you're not going to be the greatest show on turf. I don't watch a show anymore, and turf isn't a big thing. It's not a big thing. That's why it was a relevant conversation in the 90s, and a relevant thing to be the greatest show on turf, right? That's like saying America's team. I don't want to be fucking America's team. Give that
greatest
to the
show
Cowboys,
on turf
dude.
is a cute nickname. It was a cute nickname, but
super cute for a cute fucking story, dude. This is grit. This is nastiness. This is since 1950. This city, not this fucking town, this city has been kicked in the mouth, has been burned down, has been shit on, has been told you can't fucking play ball. You don't count. No one gives a shit about you. And I don't give a fuck how much money you have and what you do. It's never going to work for you. It's all about New York. It's all about California. Guess what? Hollywood's full of fucking pedophiles. In New York, just is about to cut Aaron Rodgers, and the Giants just got rid of Daniel Jones. While Saquon Barkley just almost ran for 300 fucking yards like it's 1982 again. So I'm sorry, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are real. The Lions are a fucking badass, gritty team that we haven't seen before. This isn't anything like the greatest show on turf. This isn't the fucking Super Bowl shuffle stupid Bears team. This is something new. You said it. They changed fucking football.
Well, and all we can compare it to is greatness from the past. And when I think of greatest show on turf, I think of Marshall Falk. I think of Bruce. I think of London Fletcher, I believe, putting up ridiculous numbers, right? And looking at those numbers at the time, absolutely ridiculous. And they have withstood the test of time to a reasonable extent. We've had quarterbacks throw for more yards than Kurt Warner. We've had Megatron get almost to 2,000, right, as a wide receiver. We've experienced some things, but never all in one package. And when we're looking at something like Greatest Show on Turf, albeit a cute little nickname, they have withstood the test of time. They've done things that other teams have not been able to achieve as a unit. And with Detroit doing what they're doing in the fashion that they're doing it in is going to change the way that people play football. It's going to change the way they utilize their running backs. It changes blocking schemes. It opens the door for more play calling creativity. Is Jared Goff going to have a 5,000-yard season? No, he is not on pace to do so. But what we're doing as a unit is more impressive than anything we've ever seen. That's my point.
And my point is, the only way you fucking win a Super Bowl is you do this stuff as a unit. Yeah, Calvin did have 2,000 yards. I was at the game. It was on Christmas Eve. Dolan took me with his season tickets.
It equated to nothing. It was cool.
We
but
lost. We got our asses fucking kicked by the Atlanta Falcons to the point where I was like, well, at least I'll get to see. I think Vic was still playing at the time. And I'm like, well, they pull him and Calvin has the game. Great. That's the whole point. I'm so sick and tired of this. We've had Barry Sanders, dude. Like I said, this helmet, this is a Barry Sanders costume that I've held on to since, I don't know, in 93 when I was Barry Sanders for Halloween. Isn't it funny, though, that it says Hutch right on here?
That is kind of ironic, man.
How
that is
crazy is that? But anyways, to my point is, you have Barry Sanders. That's all we had previously, like you said. Now look at Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is very complimentary to Barry Sanders. Who the fuck is David Montgomery? Our entire offensive line. Who's Jared Goff? Who's St. Brown? Who's Brian Branch? We haven't had anybody like this on all the collective teams. Matt Stafford is nothing like Jared Goff. We have never had a Jared Goff. We've never had a Jared. We've never had a Penny Sewell. We've never had a Taylor Decker.
It's true.
We've never had our own Ronnie Lott.
We have the safeties, and we're going to talk about the safeties again, and then we're going to talk about the linebackers again because it's something that we have to talk about. We have this safety crew. Yeah, we have this crew of safeties, which everyone now knows they're good. They're getting national love. And Branch and Kirby Joseph together, I feel like you could withstand a power play with those guys. You could play 10 on 11 if you had to, with those guys understanding the system.
It's your grind line if you want to go back to the wings like we were talking about. Yeah, that's your grind line. And your Russian 5 and yeah, I think that 97 96 wings team is kind of what we have, right? Because that later on when the wings were so damn good, our other cups were Luke Robitaille came here, a lot of guys wanted to come here. And hey, if we're the football team that guys want to come to on the perennial time of their career to go get that ring, I hope that's the case. And I hope Ndamukong Suh is 42 and says, I'll play. And we go, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
And you know what would happen in that perfect, beautiful world? Calvin Johnson comes out of retirement for that one season.
Play enough to get a ring, maybe.
Just play. Play enough, dude. He can hang. He's in great shape. You know damn well Calvin could still play. How old is he right now?
Well, shit, he retired at year 8 or something, so he's 2 or 3 years younger than what you would anticipate him being.
That's what I'm saying. So
look it up.
How old is Calvin?
I'm going to guess 32.
He's 39 years old.
Whoa, how was I that far off?
Because everyone's learning.
Because he's been retired for a long time, too, though, I guess.
Because when he retired from the NFL, you thought he didn't have to have birthdays anymore.
30, yeah, he would have been 32 like a year or two after he retired, I guess. I mean, he's been gone for a while. Let's edit out that part where I said 32 because that's way the fuck off.
He played until he retired after the 2015 season.
God, he's been gone for as long as he's played.
It's not hard if he decided he wanted to come back for 1 year is all I'm saying. I don't want to get hung up on that. That was more of a joke, but
I know. That just blew my mind, though.
I'm not editing that out. Point being is that I'm really excited about the defense. The world knows about this offense. Nickelodeon gave us the Slime Awards for Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles. That's taken off. The world knows about St. Brown. J-Mo is exactly what we said. Just keep doing everything that guy does. I have nothing negative. Just keep being J-Mo. Keep doing your thing. No one's going to care.
You know who would benefit from a JMO type player is Richardson, because he proved that he had a cannon. He continues to prove that he has a cannon, but he's overthrowing. He's not hitting these guys in the hands on a deep route. He would benefit from a Jameson type player.
I think if the Colts continue to do what they've been doing and they do the right thing, they're going to be a really good team. Because Anthony Richardson looked like he could be something really good.
Maybe they trade for a Tyreek down the line or something like that. You get him someone that he can't overthrow.
That's available. Is Irsay still on the team?
Yeah, he's a trade wreck.
Yeah, and then that's not going to happen then.
I mean, it might, but it'll give him $100 million more than he should, and then piss him off and mistreat him. That's the Irsay way.
That is the Irsay way.
Yeah.
So we've got a real short week.
We do.
We've had Anzalone. He's out for the season with a busted arm. Do we know how the Terrion Arnold injury? I didn't know that was going to happen until game time.
That was a surprise to me. And looking back at it, they started during practice saying questionable, probable, questionable, doubtful. Again, anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anything that says we're going to lose him for the foreseeable future. What I'm worried about in this game,
he's back at practice. It was just a little groin injury, so let's consider him in for Chicago.
Groin. Yeah. Even in a short week, and if not, whatever, one more game. But I'm concerned about Carlton Davis. You saw him with that big ass wrap on his hand already, and then he pulled up in pain.
Yeah. Hey, Dan Campbell said it perfectly. This is the NFL. Every team's injured. We're not the only one. You held me pretty honest with our depth on the linebackers when I started getting nervous. I'm going to say we've got depth with the safety position too. We've got depth in the corner position.
You think of me when you saw my boy Rico Rodriguez making a tackle for a loss on the first series?
He is, I think, about to have back end of a monster back end of the season.
Yeah, and he proved what he could do as a rookie. He was thrown into the starting role for the majority of his rookie season, and he did the thing, man. He wasn't bad. He graded out with this bullshit PFF grade pretty high. He had a good game last week. There's growing pains. These guys aren't perfect. They're not all built for coverage. There's growing pains, but overall, this unit had a solid game.
He's had the benefit, Hitch, of not having to rush to the table to perform. He's had the time to do exactly what we need him to do. And that's the whole point. Hey, we got you in a later round. I want you to learn.
There was a minute at the beginning of the season where he was all but a special teamer in some glorified depth, and everybody was saying, where did Rigo go? Well, he didn't go anywhere, man. This team's just deep, and it's built different. They're built different.
We're going to have to do our best to show everybody a new perspective as a Lions fan. You're going to have to stop looking for these flash in the pan love stories, and you're going to have to really learn the third string tight end's name, like Lavati. You're going to have to learn Brock Wright, buddy, because
when Lavati said
he's relevant.
Brock Wright, oof, it hurt a little. It hurt.
Everything Lavati says hurts. Lavati's an idiot, and that's what I'm trying to tell him.
Hey, now, I like Michael.
Of course I like Michael. He'll tell you he's an idiot. It's just comes down to...
I just had Rolling Rock come out of my nose.
Good. It's about time.
Michael.
Come
Every
on.
village needs an idiot, I suppose.
And a cheerleader, and he's both.
True that. So do you want me to riff a little bit here for, 90 seconds, or do you want to... We still got to talk about what's coming up, I think. Right?
We have a lot to talk about in this energy. Okay. Yeah, just keep riffing. I'm going to go down the street, grab Jason from basketball practice. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
See if you can get the kid on. I want to talk to him about that play sheet real quick.
I will. I'll get him on.
All right, let's have a weasel session here. All right, so Mark had to step away. If you're watching it on YouTube, it might make a little bit more sense than if you're listening to it, but you're going to have to listen to me bloviate for a good 3 or 4 minutes. And I think what I want to start with is something that Mark and I touched on briefly, but we're sitting here doing what we did to the Colts, and everybody that I'm watching this game with is saying that they feel uncomfortable and that we should be putting up more points. And this isn't, we're not off to this start that we've been getting off to. What you can easily point to is we're abused. We're tortured Lions fans. We have a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome going on here, not to by any means belittle what people actually deal with. But seeing a game where we have at one point, a 17-point lead and an 20-point lead and whatnot, it gives you those feels that it's not secure, that at any point a pick goes for 6, at any point a fumble gets recovered in our territory, right? It gave us some flashbacks to where we were not long ago, that nothing was secure, nothing was safe. But one of the folks I was watching this game with for the second field goal said, you know what the good thing about these Lions are? They're in our territory. They got timeouts. They're moving. They're jiving. They're picking up some chunk yardage right now. But this is going to end in a field goal. Lo and behold, ended in a field goal, right? So Mark said it. I've said it week in and week out. What this offense has been able to do is absolutely fantastic. To say charming, to say fun is a joke. It has been fantastic. But you got to look at what this defense has been able to do, sometimes with their backs against the wall, sometimes where the statistics are overwhelmingly against them, saying your opponent should score here. I'd have to look at Martin. I know he was healthy and active now. I'd have to look to see if he got some playing time. If he did, it was probably, most definitely rotational, probably on field goal blocking, the field goal unit. But you look at Smith, new to the script here. You look at McNeil. You look at the guys behind him. You look at the tandem that we have, safety. You look at the depth that this team has, where nobody has to play tired because the depth behind you can give you a blow. And you play a team like this, I think they were 5-5, right? So they're not top of the line, but they got a young athletic quarterback. They got a perennial Pro Bowler running back to a certain extent. Their defense is not shabby. They got a decent tight end. They're built in a way like us, and we were able to shut them down. Chunk yardage is one thing, but chunk yardage adds up, and then you score. That's very different than chunk field goal, right? So everybody take a collective breath. We're not going to win each and every game by a margin of 30 plus. We're going to keep doing Detroit Lions things. We've said it before. We'll say it again. We might lose another game or 2 or 3 this year, but we're to the point where if we lose 3, it's a bad stretch for us because we've played 11 games and we're 10-1. So let's look at the fact that the probability of these guys losing a game or 2 before the end of this year is likely, is probable. The only thing right now that can beat us is ourselves. We can't stay healthy. No team can, right? Let's look up when Mark gets back. We'll Google how long Carlton Davis is hurt. Let's see if Anzalone gets ahead of the timetable and can come back for this division win push. But the odds makers are scared. Other teams are scared. Let's see if we can go down this stretch and have a real special season with like 2 losses, 3 total losses. You start talking about a 14-3 team, you're Super Bowl bound. The odds makers are scared. They don't want the Lions to keep winning. It's going to be a big problem. And I believe it was MGM Sportsbook made a public statement saying the Lions are a problem for us. We need the Lions to start losing. I know a great family friend of mine bought a whole house worth of furniture from, I don't know, Gardner White, probably, where she had this deal. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, your furniture is free. Okay? I'm sure it's underwritten, and I'm sure Gardner White isn't going to really struggle from this, but the insurance company that underwrote that is shitting themselves right now. The odds makers are shitting themselves. People that were smart enough to make an early bet, drop $50 on the Lions to win the Super Bowl 6 months ago, you're sitting pretty right now. right? That might be a bet I'd be looking at cashing out after a playoff win or two. Who knows? But we live in a world where we are in the driver's seat. We are in a position where if everyone, not everyone, because we're already dealing with injuries, if Jared Goff stays healthy, if Penei Sewell stays healthy, if Branch and or Joseph both stay healthy, as guys are going to be coming back. Anzalone's not done for the year. He's going to be coming back. We get guys like that coming back, even if we lose another guy, which hopefully we don't. We're just in this power position that we have never been in. I can't remember anyone in the NFC North in my lifetime being in this position. I can't remember I was going to say Tom Brady's Chiefs, but they weren't infallible. I'm not saying anyone on this team is as cerebral as Tom Brady, but he had lots of years of decent defense. He had the Welker years, the Gronk combination years with Gronk and Edelman, but we aren't reliant on one player like they were on Brady and or Gronk. I don't remember an AFC team or an NFC team ever being in this power position. It's just sincerely special, and it's getting to the point where it is important. Lose or draw, right? If we don't go to the Super Bowl, I will be the first one to say that I am disappointed. But I won't say that this is a failure of a season. I'll say 20 years from now, 30 years from now, hopefully 40 years from now, that I watched every game, that I remember when we had those blowouts. I remember when we set those records. I remember watching Jared Goff go, what was it, 21 for 22 or something. I mean, these are Madden numbers. This is special. Win, lose, or draw. I'm glad I was there for it. We're going to see if we can get Jason on. Jason's a real young guy, real enthused about this team, big sports fan. I want to talk to him for a minute, and then we'll probably wrap it up after we talk a little bit about the Thanksgiving game coming up against the Bears, the game that is probably going to get flexed to a Monday night against the Bills. Flexed or not, I don't care when, where, how, what day of the week, what time we play the Bills. That's going to be a game. That's going to be a real game. Josh Allen, we talked about him last week. He's going to be a test. You name me a quarterback that we've played in the last year or two better than Josh Allen. Look how we handled Patrick Mahomes at the onset of all of this, beginning of last year when we realized that these guys are good. This team's good. We went to Arrowhead. We beat Mahomes. I haven't forgotten what it looked like last time we played the Bills. I believe it was Thanksgiving. Maybe one of the most intense experiences I've personally ever had watching a Lions game. Hopefully we win. We're built to win. I think we can win. If we lose to the Bills, not all is lost. But this is a test. Let's see if we can get to Josh Allen. Let's see if we can contain him into the pocket and not let him do what he does and just be able to roll out when we drop into coverage and pick up the first down for, 7-8 yards. Let's see if Carlton Davis is out for a while. Let's see how we can play them. Let's see. They got two talented tight ends. I know we're not dealing with Stephon Diggs anymore, but they have NFL caliber wide receivers. Let's see. Let's see what we do. Be real interesting to see the stat line. Not just the final score, but the stat line against a guy like Jared Allen. Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Jared Goff. This is the point in a traditional Lions season where we would be looking ahead to the draft. Draft is what? Now it's December practically. December, January, February, March. April, right? We're like 5 months away from the NFL draft. And this is the point where we would start looking at the draft. So in the interest of not having a ton of uncomfortable silence here, I just Googled Detroit Lions mock draft. And here's one that was updated 3 days ago by PFF. I have my feels, my personal opinions on PFF, but we're going to go with this. What I noticed right off the bat is we're picking PFF as of 3 days ago, before this Colts game, has us picking 32nd. Don't have to be rocket science to figure out what that means. It means that they're projecting us to win the Super Bowl. It says here that we're taking an edge from Alabama, LT Overton, right? Not a left tackle named Overton, an edge named LT Overton. It obviously mentions that we have Smith, but Smith is going to be 33 think at some point next season. It'd be nice not to have to rely on him for a heavy amount of snaps, right? This only does 3 rounds, I believe, so that it has us at 84. Taking Donovan Jackson. That might be a name that some of you guys know, a guard from Ohio State. I'm for it. I've said before that I thought at the trade deadline, besides for the edge or defensive line, Holmes could surprise us and make a move to get some interior offensive line depth. Now, I don't know much about college football. I certainly don't know much at all about this Donovan Jackson, but is this a guy that can play center? Is this a guy that could play left and right guard, right? We always got to worry about Frankie Boy with his toe playing in pain, can't be surgically repaired. And then the Glasgows of the world are more than serviceable, but there's been some games where they haven't been, right? So, hey, big guard, for all I know, might be able to play center, probably can play both sides. Let's do it. And then Billy Bowman Jr. from Oklahoma, a safety. And they got us graded here with a C+, probably, I'm assuming, because of the depth that we're displaying at safety. But at this early stage in the game, where in a past life we would have known all about these guys and we'd be doing our own research, let's just be happy that we don't have to. Let's look at a guy like Billy Bowman Jr. I'll do a little bit of Googling, but it says right here, I'm sorry, before I said 86, but 96 overall. A depth piece. Rarely hurt. Even if the Lions aren't in the market for a starting safety right now, Bowman has notched a PFF coverage grade of 70, which is solid. It's very solid. He's done that over the course of all 3 of his starting seasons, and he's got a 70.6 run grade. So this is maybe a depth guy that can be in a rotation. I don't know if he can play corner at all. You know, odds are we won't actually draft any of these guys, but this is something that it's nice, honestly. It's the first time I'm looking at this. So, Mark's back. How was your walk?
Well, it was a car ride over to Jefferson Middle School. We got 7th grade basketball practice. They got their jerseys today. They picked out their numbers.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
What's his number?
Riveting. He's 34. I guess they go by like sizes, it's not like it's 7th grade. Your options are limited, so.
When I think of 34, I think of James Stewart.
I'll let him know you said that. So I actually thought about this. This was probably a blessing in disguise because we keep we keep modifying the format of this podcast to replicate our friendship and the way we do things. So we've had Lavati on. You've talked for however long you showboated and had your little hitch time, which I'm excited to listen to. Don't even tell me what you said. I know. There
was a little moment of silence there that I think the AI will edit it out just seamlessly for us. But I'll let you.
Maybe the AI will leave it in. Maybe it's needed.
I'll let you. I mean, it might have been a good minute or two before I started pontificating about something else, but I think I held the fort down, and be interested to hear your feedback here.
Man, I got a lot of stuff to talk about Chicago.
Go for it, dude.
I don't even think we're gonna come on here too much and talk about the game. Because if you're a Lions fan and you're not watching the game at this point, shame on you. Did you happen to watch the Chicago game last night or yesterday? The ending of the Chicago game, I should say.
Was that a birthday party, but I was watching it on my phone and I was getting texts from everyone else. And for a few minutes there, I was a big Chicago Bear fan.
Yeah, me too. And did you kind of pick up, though, on the momentum that they're starting to get?
Bears?
Are they trying to be the team that wants to wreck the end of everybody's season?
I feel like that should be everyone's objective. Everybody that's 4-7, everybody that's 2-9, whatever, they want to be in that position to be in a game wrecker. I feel like yesterday the Bills hung with the Bears hung with a good team and tried to play spoiler. And I hope that they do that here on out, and I hope they can pick up a couple of wins for us. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure do
they have to play Minnesota again? Do they have to play Green Bay again? I don't know.
Well, they're playing us Thursday. So
they're playing us, and we want to beat them. But are they going to do us any favors down the stretch?
I think they are. I really think that they're starting to be a team where I fucking hate them, and I think they're a joke. But I think that's what makes them the team that can be just stupid enough to piss you off.
To get a few wins and get a shittier draft pick, basically?
Yeah, honestly, I really think they're going to be the stupid team. They're going to do stupid shit to piss you off. Minnesota is the really good, respectable team that it almost just seems like they, no matter what they do, it won't let them have a quarterback. Even when they get J.J. McCarthy, who I thought was an awesome draft pick, I thought the system that he's going into is perfect for J.J. Scared the hell out of me, then he's hurt. I
I
feel
wouldn't
like
say
God
that
will not
anything
let
about
Minnesota give them a quarterback.
nothing about JJ McCarthy scares me, but I think you're right that if he was going in the first round, it made sense that he goes to Minnesota. And maybe I'll eat my words when he's healthy, but JJ McCarthy does not scare me. The Vikings as a whole are overachieving, and what Sam Darnold is doing in Minnesota is unbelievable. Is that a testament to Sam Darnold being in the right system? Is that a testament just to the coaches? Could Sam Bradford have done this with this coaching staff? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You want to talk about a guy? Let's look up how much money Sam Bradford has made as an NFL player and how many full seasons he completed. Like, I really think that should be a stat or a Netflix documentary, The Heist. I mean, he is seriously,
Yeah,
he's
you're not
DB
wrong.
Cooper.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Sam
Walk away with
Darnold
a
is DB. He's the
big bag of
grandson of
money.
DB Cooper, right?
Maybe he is DB Cooper.
Is he? I
I
don't
mean, he
think the age thing
probably would have been 3 or 4 years old, but what's a better way to throw people off your scent? You send a baby to do it.
I want us to deface the city of Chicago within the first quarter.
Like Great Fire-esque, just burn it down.
Greater.
Okay.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre
Combined
on fire.
with Great Fire.
On fire.
All right.
A bunch of people getting shot while on fire. That's what I want. I don't want Chicago to even think that they're going to pull their bullshit here or that they're going to try to do the shit that they did to Minnesota.
So
because
who's
they're
going to
already
be
coming here with this fucking South Side attitude that they think they're going to ruin our season. I know what the fucking Bears think they're going to do.
Well, from the Lions side of the ball, then, who's going to be the cow to tip over the lantern? Who's going to start the fire? Who's going to get the game ball? Who's going to wreck it?
Dude, this is Zadarius Smith's game. This is where you saw the pressure. He did not a single Lion hit a sack. Was there a sack? There were no sacks.
There was a group sack towards the end, I think. Like I said, I was at a birthday party, but the pressure was on.
The pressure was on, right? The heat is on, but he's coming to take a bite. And I think this is a game. In my eyes, Zadarius Smith takes a body part from a Chicago Bears player and eats it
live on TV.
Yeah, the turducken is no more.
It's a limb.
It's a limb. And I also think you're going to see a real nasty secondary that just loves to grab interceptions for fun. Opposing quarterback. How's our boy doing right now in turning the ball over?
Bear Bear?
Opposing Hitch.
Opposing quarterback. Oh, God. I think he's been terrible, right? He's had a couple games that have been noticeable. You see some potential, but he's got to have more picks than touchdowns, right?
Well, no, he hasn't actually. That's why I kind of wanted to see. He's had 11 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 5 interceptions. Now, he hasn't been good, I'll give you that.
So is that ball security, or is that just total lack of offensive production? I guess it's tit for tat, kind of.
It really is. It seems to be boom or bust. How about that? Because he starts out with 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's 2 for 2. He's 1 for 0. He's 2 for 0. He just seems to be a par golfer, right? He's a scratch golfer at this point. There isn't really any rhyme or reason. He doesn't seem to be a bust. I really don't think the guy is incapable of being a really quality quarterback. But what I think...
What was his stat line last week? Well, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, he's got 2 touchdowns for 0 interceptions for 103. But the previous week, though. 95... 63, 68, 59. He's up and down. He's up and down. That's what I'm saying. And he's been up for 2 weeks. He should be down for 2 weeks.
Who'd they play 2 weeks ago?
Green Bay.
Who'd they play yesterday?
Minnesota.
That's right. I had it reversed in my head. I thought it was the other way around. Okay. What's his worst game?
He's been good against the division.
What's his statistical worst game? I'm not talking about QBR, but where did he just implode?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Houston and Tennessee.
Tennessee's defense is overlooked.
Houston and Tennessee, man. He 50%. He didn't throw a touchdown. I mean, he's not a machine, Hitch. What I'm trying to say is that this is somebody who, if you give him a little bit, he's going to show you why he's a first pick.
Sure.
Talented quarterback.
Sure.
But if he's coming in to our hood, completely different story.
On this isn't time. This is our game,
this isn't Lakeside Mall on the weekends, dude. This is you're walking in 7 Mile, 2:00 in the morning, 7 in Gratiot. You're not going to feel comfortable.
Brand new pair of shoes, right?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. This is Ford Field, our home turf, our home fans. These guys think that they're going
to be louder than we've heard Ford Field yet.
It can't, but it will. That's the problem. The city won't know what to do. The Detroit River won't run in a normal current.
It'll run backwards.
Canada will finally admit that they wish they were a part of America. That's how loud it's going to get.
Let's see.
And when I tell you, Chicago is going to finally figure out that you can do your little bullshit going from town to town on the back end of your season, trying to ruin everybody's time. We've done that. We're the best at that shit.
You've been there, yeah, for sure.
Rub the book on it.
Well, let's see, man. I mean, part of my soliloquy while you were gone is that it's probable that we're not going to win out. Is this a team that looks like it can win out? It is.
I don't want to win out.
It's probable that we're not going to win out. So if we drop one, we drop one. Hopefully it's not national television to Chicago, who's kind of a train wreck, but we drop one, we drop one. There's nothing that could happen right now to cause me to be alarmed. Again, part of my diatribe while you're gone is that we are at this point in time the only ones that can beat ourselves. You know, injuries happen. Let's just look at getting out of these games healthy, right? Let's look at winning more games and getting out of these games healthy. If we drop one on Thanksgiving, is it going to ruin my holiday like it has other years? Absolutely not. Will I be happy?
No,
I won't. No. But is it going to ruin the taste of my dinner? Nope. I'm going to move forward and just be glad if we can get out of here without a massive injury. So let's get a win. Let's get a win and stay as healthy as we can. And if we don't get one, we don't get one. And we move forward. We move forward as like this juggernaut that we are, right? Keep Penny Sewell healthy. Keep McNeil healthy. Keep Goff healthy. Keep St. Brown healthy. And let's just keep playing.
Yeah, it's the key. That's the key because you're right. And I don't want to win out. I don't think winning out is ever a goal or...
I mean, I do want to win out, but I'm not going to be mad if we don't.
The goal for me is health, which is the hardest thing to do with any team in the NFL. And I want that bye. I want to win. I want the first round bye. I really do. I feel like we deserve it. We earn it. We're the team that will benefit the most from it, and I want to see the chaos that can kind of get conjured up with all the other teams. I feel like we are the San Francisco 2 years ago, where we deserve, not deserve, but yeah, we deserve that first round bye. We are the best team in the NFC right now.
I think we're the best team in the NFL, honestly.
We are, but if you want to come down to a specific NFC versus AFC, let's get to the Super Bowl. I'm confident enough to say to anybody, we are the best team in the NFC. Fuck the Eagles. I don't give a shit if they have a good game because 2 weeks ago they wanted to kill their coach even though they won the game. And he wanted to blame the fans. Fuck the Eagles.
Agreed. And you know what? Fuck the Eagles in general. I don't care if they're 0-17 at the end or 17-0. Fuck the Eagles. I hate watching the Eagles. I hate that they exist. But the Eagles are problematic. The Eagles are getting good.
They're getting good, but when your coach is a fucking douchebag and you got some fat dildo security guard that has to stand on the sideline for you to be relevant, I don't give a shit, dude. Saquon Barkley can run the ball up and down all he wants, but he doesn't do that when he plays us because nobody runs the ball in the fucking Lions.
Well, we have the ability with this defense to take away a dimension, right? So if we play the Eagles, we got to take away Saquon, right?
We take away everybody. That's what we do to every team. We make everybody one-dimensional. I like this, Hitch. I like where you're headed.
Yep.
Give
So
me
we'll
a
see.
game where we won and we didn't make him one-dimensional. We told Anthony Richardson and the Colts, you're not going to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. You're just not. You are going to throw the ball. You're going to fucking slang the ball and run the ball. You're going to do the Anthony Richardson what you did in Florida. Go ball out, but you can't beat us.
The closest thing to it is Houston. And we've talked about it ad nauseum. What Houston was able to do to make us unsettled, to get to Goff, to make us nervous. It was only a matter of time in that game. We gave some
Compliment the
ground.
Houston defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their
We gave
defense
some
is
ground.
their defense is exactly Houston is just like the Lions. I really like it, and we said this before, but when they're nasty, when their defense is nasty, CJ Stroud has everything in him to be a very Goff-like quarterback where he's not going to say much and just be focused and very cerebral.
He
Their
can be
coach,
he
former
can be
player,
surgical. That's the thing
and he
with him
will
is
be.
he can be surgical, but then there's weeks where he isn't. And Goff has been able within this system under this staff in this phase of his career, right? He's been able to space that out. And again with Houston, 5 picks, right? It didn't sink us because he had a defense and he was able to slow it down. And when I say that Houston was the closest to being able to be two-dimensional and to make us sweat, we all had this opinion. Anyone that knew what they were watching, I should say, any real fan that understands football knew that it was just a matter of time if we could hang and if we could mitigate the points off of turnovers, that we would figure it out. That's how good this team is. We were able to figure it out and not let it get out of hand. And you'll hear what I talked about while you were gone, kind of the same thing. Just do your thing, right? And if Goff throws 3 picks and gets sacked 4 times, the nice thing with this team, with this short sample size, the short history that we have, is it's not going to get out of hand. It's not. You throw 5 picks and you win the fucking game. You won it in fantastically dramatic fashion that had us all skitzing out, but we won the game. So this defense plays well when the offense doesn't. This offense puts up points when the defense struggles, and it doesn't matter what dimension we take away from a team. We are so complete and have this depth that I'm not scared of anybody right now. I'm not going to eat those words either. If we go on a losing streak and we get bounced in the first round or second round of the playoffs, I'm not going to eat those words. These guys have played up to this prestige where I am not scared of anybody. Bring the Eagles, bring the Chiefs, bring the two-dimensional Pittsburgh Steelers, bring in the overachieving Broncos. Let us get another crack at Tampa. I am not scared of anybody right now. Are you?
No, actually, it got me thinking. When you were doing your little soapbox while I was gone, did you happen to mention that O.J. Simpson got away with murder?
Well, we all know that OJ did it. And while we were talking and everything, I got my phone on and I got a message that said, no charges to be pursued for JMO.
No shit. Okay, sweet. So we're not quite to that level where the history books can go back and say this team was so great that they had a murderer on their team, like the Bills, the Ravens. What other professional athlete that committed murder that got away with it?
Oh gosh, are you thinking about the Netflix ESPN darling of a tight end from New England?
Oh, Aaron Hernandez. He murdered a lot of people and got
that
away
guy.
with it.
Yeah, that
And
guy.
then he was murdered so that you didn't find out all the people he murdered and all the murdering stuff. Got it.
His team
So
played football,
close enough. No diddy.
right? No
My
doubt, no
biggest
diggity.
thing is I'm not afraid of fucking anybody because of the culture that we have. I know Brad Holmes and I know Dan Campbell, and every time Dan Campbell has his post-game speech, his pre-game speech, every time he takes a picture on his Instagram of just out to dinner with his wife, and he's got a shirt on that I would wear, right? Even though I know he's made of a lot of money and can have all these great custom clothing.
He's made of iron. He is Iron Dan Campbell.
It's true. I'm not. I'm really not afraid. I'm excited. I'm eager. I'm eager for the Bills game. I mean, I'm eager for some of these big time games. Like, I'm eager. I'm eager to be at the fucking table, Hitch.
You're
And even
going to the
if we
Bills game,
lose,
right?
Jason and I are going to so my son and I are going to the Bills game, which I think is the closest thing you're going to see to a Super Bowl game in a regular or a playoff game, Super
Preview.
Bowl game in a regular season format.
Is it gonna mess with your work schedule and everything if it gets flexed to a Monday night? Because that's looking like a real thing.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. We'll be going to that game regardless.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that's a great point. It could be a Monday night game, which would be even cooler because
I
then we
think
get
they'll
on.
flex it.
Jason and
They'll
I will get
flex
on
it.
TV.
Yeah, they'll flex it.
Okay. I'm not. I'm just really excited to watch football, knowing I have a really good team. I have a really good coach, a really good front office, a really good fan base. We're going to lose some. We're going to win some. We're going to get injured players. But
So is
it's
everybody
nice to
else.
know that it's not all just going to come falling out under us.
Oh, we're at an hour 6 right now. Excuse me. We both have stuff to do, I think, tonight. You're going out of town. I got some plans later. Let me say this and then throw it back to you maybe to close it up. If, and it's a big if, it's a hypothetical if something catastrophic happens where we
The
get
royal if.
Yeah, the royal if we get injury effed, if
You have to end it with this.
something catastrophic happens, I think we will always be able to look back at this stretch of being a Lions fan and what the Lions have been able to do, and it will always look special. It will always be like, where were you when Jared Goff was perfect, right? Where were you when we put up whatever 140 points in 3 games, right? Whatever happens, we have to frame it in this point of reference that this has already been so special, man. Super Bowl or not, we're seeing things that we will probably never see the Detroit Lions do again. It's just fact.
No, you're wrong. We're seeing things that the Lions are always going to do, which is why it's so special, because we've never seen anything other than shit on a fucking shit box, caught on fire, in a color wrapped up in blue. And it was still kind of expensive to go see. That's all we ever had.
You do get the feeling that win, lose, or draw, maybe we're peaking right now and don't know it, but you do get the feeling that we are going to be relevant in the NFC and the NFL subsequently for a very long time. Have we turned a corner? I think we're all a little scared to say it early in the year, but I feel like we have the roster foundation, the coaching staff, which we will inevitably lose some to the greener pastures, but I hesitate to say it aloud, but I think we're there. I think that we have turned a corner where we're going to be relevant for a while. Does that mean we're going to start this big dynasty run? I don't know. Nobody knows. Time will tell. But for the foreseeable future, I think the days of not being able to televise a game, the days of fans wearing paper bags on their heads, those days are gone for a while, right? I mean, look, it's happening to the Patriots now. They enjoyed this meteoric tenure of success.
10-year, 20-year, dude.
Tenure in the figurative, by definition, tenure, like a
Yes,
professor.
the Patriots were god awful. They had a terrible, 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 terrible team for a long time. And then there was the smell of hope with Bledsoe. And then, yeah, you had Tom Brady forever. They owned football forever. So, yeah,
I just think we're going to be relevant for a long time.
To credit Michael Scott. Well, how the turntables have turned.
And you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Double quote. Yeah. I'm telling you, you're right. We picked a good fucking time for this podcast to be on YouTube because I love it, man. I love the Lions. I love Detroit sports. I love you. I love your beard. I love the fact that I'm still waiting for that fucking hoodie that you were teasing us about.
It's in the works, bro. It's in the works.
It's in the works, you motherfucker. It's in the works.
It's in the works.
It'll be in the works until the Lions have their 7th Super Bowl.
We'll see.
Jared Goff's daughter owns the team.
It'll make an appearance. I can see like a well-lit short of me like fashion modeling this hoodie. It's gonna happen, but we'll
Oh,
see.
fuck. Well, on that note, I think dinner's ready.
Let's just keep doing our thing. Let's keep getting weirder. Let's see if we can get a little more traction. Right, we got
Cool.
some guest stars lined up and shit. So let's
Yeah, we do. We
yeah,
do.
let's
We gotta let you guys know that there's some epic guest stars coming up in the near future.
all right. Well, if I can't get on with you, you have a good Thanksgiving. Let's get back on to Talk Lions next week.
All right, sounds good.
Deuces.